My name is JSB and this is not my tech department. It's been Hauptbahnhof. Road trip! Yes, it's summertime and the tech department wouldn't be the tech department without a road trip somewhere. Part of the fun I have in the tech department isn't just finding the various old machines that make up the collection. There's a certain sense of adventure when I have to physically pick up a machine or two, and today is no exception. Whilst most of the machines are found locally, there are occasions when I get to travel outside the Austrian capital and into the countryside. Today we're heading to Leoben, about 2 hours south of Vienna in Steiermark, or Styria, depending on your point of view, and we'll be taking Austria's railjet service. I'm also joined today by my better half, who is acting as our camera woman, filming all the fun. First though, we need coffee. Almost immediately things go wrong. Our train is delayed and then we get on and it's very busy. So any hope I had of filming at my seat is long since dashed. However, it isn't long before we're out into the beautiful alpine countryside and heading towards Leoben. Whilst the scenery is always beautiful, the sky however has other ideas and the weather is decidedly, Welsh if I'm honest. It's grey and it's wet, and I'm really hoping that by the time we reach Leoben things cheer up. However, I doubt it. Despite the late start, our train arrives on time, and all too soon the railjet leaves us on the platform as it heads off to Villach further south. Right, welcome to Leoben. Come on. So we're here today in Leoben, the heart of Styria, to pick up another machine. Now it's actually a small machine today, and I'll explain a little bit over coffee and how I can manage to do this kind of nonsense, carrying 2 hours from Vienna to pick up something so small. Well, come on then. Before heading out into Leoben itself, we take a quick look around the Hauptbahnhof. It's everything a 1960s or 1950s building is. It's kind of brutalist, it's a little difficult to love, and the artwork is interesting. Outside, however, things are not getting any better. That rain, well, it's got worse. It's now pouring down, and whilst it's warm enough to not wear a jacket, it's not the kind of day we were really hoping for. Gone are dreams of spending an afternoon in a Styrian paradise filled with alpine backdrops. Instead, we're cowering under umbrellas, hoping to find somewhere to hide, and we do find somewhere to hide. Fortunately, there is a rather large mall in Leoben, because you can imagine there's probably a lot of snow here in winter, so we take refuge in there, hoping to wait things out. And while I'm waiting, well, a beer seems fair. So I am in the heart of Steiermark today in Leoben to pick up a Sony PSP or PlayStation Portable. Introduced in December 2004 in Japan, we had to wait until September 2005 until it reached Europe. Now the PlayStation Portable is a really cool little machine. Not only can it hook up with the PS2 and PS3, it can also show movies and was a much more capable machine than the Nintendo DS that arrived at the same time. Now today, the machine is hopefully going to cost me around €50. It is about an hour and a half till I meet the guy to pick it up from. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy a drink and some food while we wait. So, Prost! A delicious meal of pumpkin-covered schnitzel served with herbs and rice, and a little preiselberry served in half an apricot later, and it's almost time to go and collect our machine. And lo and behold, the weather has tidied up. It's dry out there. Excellent. Right, so the deal has been done. I have a bag full of goodies. Let's go find somewhere to sit before we head home and take a look at what we've got. Right, it's a few days later because, well, essentially my plan of sitting down and having a nice coffee before we jump back on the train didn't work out. And then trying to record this on a train that was kind of busy also didn't work out. So let's take a look at what we've actually got. Now, the advert was for 7 games, 1 PSP, 1 power supply, and the battery. So, out of the 7 games, we got 8. We have Need for Speed Most Wanted 5.1.0, cool. FIFA Street 2, not bad, not bad. I mean, you know, it's FIFA. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I'm sure this is a fantastic game. This really is a fantastic game. Little Big Planet. I'm actually really excited to play this. I do enjoy that on the PS3 as it is. Gran Turismo, well, honestly, I'm a fan. I love this. FIFA 11. NHL 07. Don't really know much about ice hockey, so this could be fun. And finally, Lego Star Wars 3 Attack of the Clones. Well, could be fun. But not bad considering I only thought it was going to be 7 games. How about the console itself? Well, let's open it up. First, we have a carry case, which is great. And then we have the console itself. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, it works. It actually works fairly well, to a point. The point being this. This is the power supply, and it led me a merry run around during the trip home. You see, I managed to plug it in on the train and test it out and enjoyed a very quick blast around Need for Speed Most Wanted. When I tried to do it again, I got nothing. There was no power. I assumed at this point on the train that the voltage had done something wrong and the console was bricked. No. What proceeded was several hours after I got home of me plugging this in, going, cutting, and generally getting annoyed. Turns out, this is faulty. Checking the voltage, it kind of is there, and then all of a sudden it isn't. It just goes, it disappears, and it doesn't work until it does work. So this 5-volt power supply, buggered. So how do I check the console? Well, I use another 5-volt power supply I've got here in the tech department, and the console then works fine. Speaking of which, the battery. Sadly, the battery is no good. It is an official Sony battery, but when I tried to charge it, I got a little bit of flashing light, which told me there was an issue. And then when I did get the battery, well, it's squishy. It's puffed up a tiny little bit, only a tiny little bit, but it's swollen enough to cause issues, and I cannot use this. Now, you can buy new PSP batteries, but sadly not Sony PSP batteries. You see, Sony like to keep things a little proprietary, and whilst I can probably get a battery that may work with this, chances are, after a while, it'll just stop working. There are users out there that open this battery, take out the proprietary circuit board that helps with the charging, and replace the batteries. I do not fancy that. I'm not a fan of opening these kinds of batteries, so this will be heading to the bin. The other plus side though, whilst the battery was no good, I did get a memory stick with it. Now these are getting quite rare. So to have this 2 gig piece, I'm really happy. But what you really want to know is, can I see some of the games running? And yes, of course you can. But first, well, let's take a closer look at the console and see the condition it's in. So looking at the console, it's dirty. There are bits of dirt and grime, in here, obviously, but expected for a console of this age. The screen itself, there are a few little dots in the overlay, but generally it works. Curiosity, of course, what PSP is this? So checking out this, the PSP is a 3004 module, so it's a 3rd series edition. Nice. I had no idea when we bought this whether or not it was series of PSP it was going to be and whether it worked. So the fact that it more or less does, great. Turning to the back, there is signs of damage. You can see here, hopefully, let's tilt it that way. You can see here there's a little bit of, well, the gloss is coming off the top. That's actually not too much of a problem and really expected in a console this age. The UMD drive is generally pretty clean, I think. It does squeak a lot, but in fairness, I've never used one of these, so I don't know if it works. It's supposed to squeak, you know, it's one of those things. Finally, yeah, it just needs a general clean. And you know what? Let's sort that out right now, shall we? With the cleaning complete, it's time to actually check out the console working and take a look at one or two of the games, assuming they work. Here we go though, at least I have the sound hooked up to the camera, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to hear some of the in-game audio. And hopefully not get a copyright strike. We'll see. It turns out that I was fairly certain that I would get a copyright strike, so instead of listening to a wonderful musical track combined with the sound of this Porsche, you're just going to have to put up with watching me spiral into the barriers repeatedly until I rage quit. Enjoy! FIFA 11 promised so much and delivered so little. This is as far as the game got. It turns out that the disc is actually very dirty, and I will need to spend some time just cleaning that back up so that the game will hopefully work. Although, do I want that? Is that something I want? Well, maybe. We'll find out. Finally, Star Wars seemed pretty safe as long as I stayed away from the opening titles, the opening of the mission, and basically any other thing that would play the Star Wars march. So, yeah, here's the clip I've got with some actual sound coming from the PSP. It's a short. So there we have it. The question is, did I get a good deal on this Sony PSP? Well, frankly, yes. I've got the console, a working console, 8 games. Admittedly, not all the games work. FIFA, I'm looking at you, surprisingly. How will I ever find another copy of FIFA 11? And on top of that, I have hours of entertainment ahead of me. Yes, it's unfortunate that the battery is swollen and will need replacement, but at this point in this console's life, I'd expect that. And yes, it's unfortunate that the 5-volt power supply went faulty, but again, that's actually a really easy fix with a USB to 5-volt barrel jack connector. Well, you can use any USB power supply you've got. This console is perfectly working. It's scratched, it's loved is the word I would use, and I absolutely love it. In fact, I love it so much, I went out and bought my favourite film for this system, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, with Sean Connery and others. Alright, I bought it because I wanted to test the movie playback, and this was 99 cents, which is probably 99 cents too much, but it's still fun, and it still worked. All that's left to say now, of course, is down below you'll find our social media links, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you had one of these Sony PSPs, and what would you do with it now? I've got a few ideas. Until next time though, the important thing to remember is, please, when it comes to old technology, don't send them to e-waste. Reuse, rediscover, and have some fun, because that's what I'm going to do with this old console. Until next time, cheers, Papa.